Hello and welcome back to another video on Attractions with Ash. Buckle in, because today is a story time. Oh, let's get I haven't got an appropriate prop here. We haven't got an appropriate prop because we have an LED light at the back there, which, you know, is a purple light. And what do you associate with purple and story time? Of course, there's only one association you can possibly make with that, and that is CBeebies story time. So let's buckle in and get ready for a bedtime story. Well, let's set the scene, shall we? It is August 2024, at the end of my absolutely amazing Disneyland Paris summer trip, and it's a story that, you know, I kind of vaguely addressed in the final video of that series of videos, but it was sort of in a jokey way and it didn't really have much context to it. In fact, let me just pull up the context right now.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, if you weren't there, you have absolutely no idea what went on, apart from, you know, just a picture of a plane. It all starts at the end of the Disneyland Paris trip, which, as I said, and as I've said before, was absolutely incredible. It was great to go there the first time round back in March. Yeah, I was pretty sad, to be honest, as I imagine anyone is at the end of a really fun trip. I was going from my theme park head to my travelling head now. I was kind of the lead traveller. I was leading everyone else in terms of navigation. I try my best to keep things under control. But sometimes there is simply nothing you can do. First warning sign, I tried to get the expressway back to Charles de Gaulle Airport, because there's two ways you can get back to the airport from Disneyland Paris. The first way is going from Marne-la-Vallée-Chessy train station right outside the park, and that's the fastest way to get there. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. The other way is the way we came in, the long way round, and using the Paris metro system, which turns out the latter was the only journey that we were valid for. But I didn't know that at the time, because we had bought a Paris visit kind of travel pass for the week that allowed us unlimited travel within all zones, really, of the Paris area, which was really helpful, and we did so much within the week. But what I didn't know was that didn't include the express train, which, come to think of it now, kind of makes sense. Even though the travel pass was extortionate as it was, it kind of makes sense that the express train wasn't included. But obviously I wasn't to know that at the time. Obviously, it turns out the express train, obviously when you have to pay for it, it isn't exactly cheap. So bear that in mind if you're, you know, with a group of people. Yeah, we just waited around for an hour for the next one to arrive, which it duly did. And, well, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I'm on pretty good confidence that isn't the case. But I digress. We got to the airport. Everything seemed to go quite smoothly from then on, to be honest. You know, we checked our bags in, went through security, and we just waited for our flight. I think our flight, we got there, once we'd done all the check-in and security, I think it was about an hour and a half, maybe a couple of hours, roughly, before we were due to board our flight. So, you know, no bother. We're just waiting around, getting some food, as you usually do when you're at an airport waiting for a plane and you have a bit of time to kill. Probably about half an hour maybe before we were due to board our flight, word suddenly got round that the flight all of a sudden had been cancelled. Remember that praise that I was giving, that glowing praise I was giving EasyJet in my kind of review video when I first went to Paris? Remember that glowing praise that I gave EasyJet over Ryanair after having, you know, obviously a similarly stressful experience when trying to get back from Cologne last year? Yeah, I'm very quickly eating my words. All of a sudden, cancelled on us, and I'm going to blame the curse of Luton on this, because, you know, what else would you blame it on? Yeah, this left us a little bit in the dark, as you do, considering our flight 5 to 10, I think our flight was originally scheduled to leave, or something like that. I'm not too clued up on the details. Yeah, we were kind of trying to figure out what to do. One of the options was to try and wait for the next flight. Problem is, the next flight was not for a couple of days. So, what do you do in an airport for a couple of days? That was one of the potential options that we would probably have to come across. Thankfully, the other option was taking the Eurostar. Although, £1,000 to go on the Eurostar, it didn't really serve my parents' bank account pretty well, to be honest. But it wasn't done there. It wasn't done there because, of course, it was late at night. So, yeah, we weren't exactly going to go home straight away. Of course, all the Eurostar services had finished for the night. So, what do we have to do then? We hopped on the metro again, and we went down to Gare du Nord, which is obviously the Paris terminus of the Paris to London Eurostar. And wow, I just have to say, wow, it was absolutely stunning to visit that train station for the first time, because I'd very briefly, I think, seen the train station, I think in Mr. Bean's Holiday, you know, watching that movie years ago. Obviously, to see it, you know, in person, you know, the architecture was absolutely stunning to see. Although I was absolutely, you know, conked off my feet, really.
Night, night, mummy.
So I couldn't really appreciate it too much. But now looking back on it, it was amazing to be in such a beautifully designed train station like that. But oh my god, was I so glad to see a British flag up on like the upper level. We didn't get there just yet. We had to spend a lovely night in the terminal, I guess you could call it, of the Eurostar where you waited. Except we didn't, because we waited probably about an hour or two. In the end, we got kicked out by the police, because obviously they don't want anyone sleeping in there overnight. So luckily, and I'm not 100% sure this is the case in the UK, to be honest, because I've never seen anything like this. A Burger King that was open till 5 AM. Luckily, so we could stay in that overnight, and now I can officially say I stayed in Burger King overnight. I'm honestly really regretting now not making an overnight challenge in Burger King, and it probably would have been the first ever video, the first ever overnight challenge on video on YouTube, that wasn't actually clickbait. So, you know, a real missed opportunity there. I really could have had my first like million view video there, but oh well, it wasn't to be, was it? It wasn't to be. We stayed in there overnight, really struggled to get some sleep. I think that's one of the toughest nights I've ever had. I'm not proclaiming to be like, you know, the Bear Grylls kind of adventure. Oh, you know, I slept out in the wild, I couldn't sleep all night. But genuinely, that's probably one of the toughest nights sleep I've tried to ever get. And, you know, I didn't get much. You know, saying that I got sleep was probably an overstatement, really, because I probably got about half an hour to an hour max, to be honest. I really struggled. You know, those chairs in Burger King weren't exactly very comfortable, I have to say. But good hospitality, so I can't complain. The alternative, of course, sleeping out on the streets of Paris for the night, which probably was the less safe option, to be honest. It was time to board the Eurostar, and it feels like after all of that pain of waiting overnight was finally worth it. Travelled in such luxury. That 2-hour journey was probably one of the best train journeys I've ever had in my life, going on the Eurostar there. It was so quick as well. I think the total journey time was probably about 2 hours. I think it actually was quicker than advertised, really. So always great, isn't it, to get something quicker than advertised, especially, you know, being the theme park person that I am and constantly being in queues. But I'd fully recommend, if you could afford the Eurostar, it is a really, really nice experience, and especially if you've had a rough day travelling, it is the best place to go back to. It really, really is. It was such comfort. And that was it. That was it. That was the end of my hellish journey. Oh no, it wasn't, because we had to get a train back to Luton. So it wasn't quite the end of the road, but it was the end of the absolute hellish journey. So, well, there you go. We have been on a roller coaster journey over this past, 20 minutes. It feels like I could make an absolute feature-length film out of this, and I may do someday, who knows. I may incorporate it into my 200 subscriber feature-length kind of documentary that I'm still gonna get around to hopefully planning and filming, hopefully in the next few weeks, or I may postpone it maybe to the new year. Who knows, because obviously the next few weeks is going to be absolutely ramsacked. It truly is the most wonderful time of the year, isn't it? But yeah, that was my story, and if you've ever had a similar story like that, let me know in the comment section down below so I can counsel you. I'll see you hopefully in a few days if I don't injure myself again, which I'll try not to, but you never know what life may throw at you. Until then, goodbye.
Hi guys, welcome to an overnight challenge under my bed. It's going to be a pretty tough one. I'm going to have to hang in there tonight, but you know, I think I can do it, so stick with me guys.